Hi, Blind Guy Garage. So this is the 85 C10. I'm gonna try to do this video all in one deal again, but it's not always gonna work that way, and I probably will get interrupted. I always do. I don't think I can ever do anything without getting interrupted, but that's what happens when you're a parent and you want to do things. Going to change this carburetor out. This old carburetor, the choke, electric choke was broken. Whoever screwed with it before broke all the rivets off in the body of the carburetor, and I just don't feel like fooling with all of that. So the electric choke stuff's messed up. You see I'm in the choke part right now where the electric choke goes, just fiddling. But we're going to swap it out for this guy right here. I've got through some wheeling and some dealing, got one of these here. So this guy's got its electric choke. This is Holley's replacement carburetor for GM spread bore Quadrajets. And people call them Quadrajunks. And they are not junk. They're good carbs. You just got to know what you're doing. I don't have the patience or the time to do the rebuilds on those. I used to, but I haven't rebuilt or dealt with one of them in such a long time that I'm not sure how good I'd be at rebuilding on one of them Quadrajets. But I know guys that were drag racing with these Quadrajets and stuff, and they were doing great. But I just noticed something was bent on this carburetor here, where I guess it's either shipping or I might have dropped it. But it says fall down here. But these are the replacement. So we'll see. I think it'll do fine. I've had it on here once. I had a little issue, so pulled it off. Put the old guy back on there. She's running rich, black smoking, making us smell like exhaust when we're going to church. Kids started saying, "Daddy, I got a headache." Welcome to the 80s. But so I'm gonna set this over here so I don't knock it off the truck. And that thing is actually quite of a pain in the butt to put on. It hits everything, and your bolts, your studs that go in the intake manifold right here, you can't use the stock stuff. All that's got to change. They don't send that with the kit. The one that I got, it didn't come with that. Sorry, I'm in the shop looking for a hardware for a carburetor, but you got to replace it, the bolts, with these. And I got a 1-inch spacer because because the side of the carburetor, I think it's the vacuum advance and stuff, hits on this intake, hits where the EGR valve and stuff would go. And I got an EGR block off plate that's homemade on there. It's just a welded up or the EGR block off. The EGR itself has a plate underneath it, like an adapter or something. And so anyhow, I'll do the best I can to work as quickly as I can, and also try to get the whole start to finish in one take, I guess. But I promise you guys, I'm going to get interrupted. It never fails. But yeah, so just get all these nuts off. This is the original. Now I had to, I don't know if I did that or not. I've done it on one before. I had to make the hardware out of some all thread. And no, this stuff wasn't loose already. I mean, sitting here loose. I'm checking all my sizes, and I think my first interruption just arrived. So I'm going to sneak behind the camera there probably, and put it on pause and go deal with the customer. Grease delivery. Had to have some wheel bearing grease for another project that I'm going to finish. Coming soon, I guess. Don't know if I'll get to that today or tomorrow. Now that I've started on this, I was waiting on that. But now that I put the kneecaps on the bumper. Yeah, that helps. Get to about 38, you just need to start doing things that really hurt. Keeps you young. My grandpa always said that put lead in your pencil. Really wish I knew what the heck he was talking about sometimes. But getting to them back too. And fellas, when you're putting stuff on your trucks, like carburetors, how about you not tighten it down until you pass gas and nearly crap your pants, because you're going too tight, guys. It's too much. Carburetors are not holding the truck together. They're just putting gas in there. It don't have to be insane. And we ain't even getting into it. People've got to have these expensive gasket sets and stuff. And there's the fuel line. That Holley does hook up to that fuel line too, but you've got to tweak it and bend it a little bit because I've got the 1-inch spacer. Like I said, I've had it on there before, and now this is that spring thing. I like those myself, but the Holley don't take that. It has I did a blind guy garage modificationalized on that too, because of things and stuff and whatnot. And that detent cable for your 700R transmission, well, that's going to be a thing that you have to adjust. Vacuum advance, that's necessary. I put I think that's blue fuel line from trimmer line that I have. I think I did something like that, but where is it hooked up back on here? I got it going to a different spot on the carburetor than before. Which I'll probably have to use this line on the other carb. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I've had it all off. Oh yeah. Can't forget. There's the PCV system, and fellas, it's a PCV, not PVC. I don't know. I kind of get tickled every time somebody says that, but there's another one. that's actually the PCV on this one. Let's see. And well, that's had time to get stuck on there good. I've done replaced it. That's another thing I've learned on Chevrolet Malaise engines is they need their PCV valves replaced every so often. Mainly because, well, we all know that if a Chevy don't leak oil, there's probably something wrong with it. It's kind of like the Harley Davidson rule. But no, I didn't make those. I bet they came in a kit. What do you know? But yeah, see, this is the spread bore 4-hole intake and adapterizer. So I got to put I'm going to put the spread bore carburetor on it. Those, what is it, a 1050 flange is the square flange carburetor for the Holley. But anyhow, yeah, I don't have that one. I do have those adapters, and I just wanted to have everything I got that style is that gum high performance. And I just want this is the truck that we're going to do a 4.8 swap on eventually, provided that no emergency situations happen in the meantime, because the children are first, of course. So the money that was allotted for the swap is always subject to be used to help out my children. So now you take, and I don't know, I think I have all the nuts for these bolts, because for some reason when you get these threaded studs, they have a different thread pitch on them from what goes in the intake. So y'all could just put it normal in the same thread pitch that's in the intake. It's not, and you're going to have to fiddle with them. And the reason you got to fiddle with them is because the shape of the bowls that are on the Holley are different than the shape of the Quadrajet. So that causes interference with these bolts, or the nuts that go underneath the carburetor. So your next issue, as you will love it, I know you'll love it, is that you have to start the nut. You have to hold the carburetor, like levitate the dadgum carburetor, slide the nut up underneath there, or, well, first you got to put a washer on. Then you slide the nut on top of the washer. Then you gently let the carburetor down a little bit so that you don't knock the stuff out. And then you turn the nut a little bit and get it threaded. You can't go down very far because you got to do that 3, 2, I think 3 of the 4 bolts have got to be done that way. And that's just the way it is, guys. And it's because they have a different float bowl design and stuff, and that just causes problems. And I just can't remember. I can't remember everything, but I had a little bit of an issue with it, with this carb. It's just kind of a fluke sort of thing, and Holley fixed it immediately, got it back to me quickly. And I would still recommend their stuff. So hopefully, like right now, those studs in the back, that one don't touch the bowl. That one I think is touching the bowl on the back left, passenger side, and the front right, I think. both the left sides are touching. So you got to take them back off. And then I'm going to try to see if I can run them down in the intake more. What did I do with my favorite tip rings? These are not my favorite tool, I guess, but they are probably high ranking in the I like them department. Vice grips, or see, that's not going down, and it's up there. I need them to go down some. Otherwise, I guess I could go see if I could find a big fluffy gasket that goes on here. But I can't even remember where that's at. I may have to pause y'all again and go see if I can find my fluffy gasket. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause it. I hope we don't get losing the it's recording. So this is the fluffy gasket. See? Fluffy. And I think with this one you actually have to pull some of them studs back up a little bit. Because we go a little bit too thick then. But this is even more heat isolation. Old gasket. Not old gasket like this. These gaskets that I've got on here, and including the fluffy one, is probably not even. Shucks. I bet these gaskets ain't even 6 months old. It's just I did all of this and then the carburetor wasn't right, so I had to send it back. And they, like I said, they took care of it. You don't go that way. It goes that way. Yeah, they took care of it. I just messed up gasket on the carburetor. It wasn't, we had a transition hole blocked by one of the gasket that didn't have a transition hole cut in it. Yeah, see there. Now we got that on there. We only got like 4 threads showing. So if I pick it up, and I will tell you what, Holley wasn't playing when they made this car. This sucker's heavy. I bet that carburetor's close to 10 pounds. It's heavy. So I'm gonna get that all done again. And there's all, yeah. Hold it up with this. The AC lines are supporting my arm pretty well. There it goes. And see, so yeah, see that the original fuel line don't quite line up, so you gotta bend it, tweak it, and twist it, but it will go. And they do have the same sort of air filter and stuff on it. I mean fuel filter. What am I saying? Did I say air filter? Okay. You only are having some serious problems if you're filtering gas with an air filter, or you got some serious power. You got to be running a lot of fuel for that. So here comes the balancing act. Because, oh, and by the way, you can't really get your fingers off in there to actually touch these parts in the way you need to be able to put them on. So, don't know if y'all can see my face, but I'm not even going to look because it ain't gonna dadgum matter. And then that's a washer. And then that's the nut is up there. And the thumb from my left hand is spinning the nut, while the index finger of my right hand is trying to line the nut up on the threads of the bolt, and my thumb of my right hand is holding the dadgum carburetor up a little bit, and it just ain't working. But that washer I stuck in there was bent a little bit, so I think it's causing me some trouble. And we may not be able to run a washer because I don't want to pull anymore. Now we got to knock the bolt off, the nut off. So that fell. Did it go to the intake? Nope. Is it under the bowl of the carburetor? Here you go. So it's under the bowl of the carburetor on the flange of the carburetor, and I think it just tried to roll into the engine. Yep. Took the carburetor back off, sliding it back on. Like I said, it's not the easiest carburetor swap out or install. This bowl design is just completely in the way of the bolt pattern to hold it to the intake manifold. Oh, I did it again. Son of a gun. I need that to come out. It's out. Carburetor's back down. It's down. And I think hopefully I started on the hardest one to do first. Oh, and I think you got to get a 1/2 inch crow's foot on this sucker, on one of these nuts, which is something I forgot until just now, so I'll have to go get that in a minute. And I get that gummit, I dropped it again. At least that time it went right where I could reach it. Then you got to get that crow's foot and tighten them down one of the nuts. Oh, and the nuts are really close to the body of the carburetor too, so it makes it extra difficult to have those tightened down, because your wrench, the open end of your wrench is so, they got to be fatter, so they're in the way. You can't turn your wrench but like 1/64th of a turn or some crap. That takes, as I said, 20 years to do this sometimes. I got both the front ones on. Support the back of the carburetor. Use the bowl of the carburetor to push down on the nut so that when you spin it, it threads. And it threaded. And then that back one right there, we got one. Holy Moses. We got one that you don't have to do some kind of dexterity challenge to get the dang bolt on, or nut on. Look at there. Huh, 5 seconds, 1 millisecond, I guess, and I got it done on that. So now it's, we got to tighten all that crap up, and it ain't easy. It's very time consuming. I guess it ain't hard, it's just, you got to hold your mouth right the whole time. And you got to say all your prayers so you don't start cussing. If you're trying not to, if you don't care, then whatever, I don't care. I'm not listening to you. And let's see, I had a choke wire somewhere that has to be hooked up. Is that, no, I don't know what that is. Well, that's extra. It ain't on, I just stuck it to my tongue. Anybody ever seen the movie Down Periscope? There's a feller on there. He's the electrical engineer. He likes to hold wires to see if they're hot or not. I've been known to do the same thing. I'm not very conductive, I have found out. I don't conduct electricity very well. I think that's going to be I'm just going to pretend that it is. And I might have to, I'm going to use the pliers here, the gripolizers, because normally I'd use my teeth, but I just hold my kneecaps on the bumper, but that spade terminal is a little loose on the terminal on the engine, or on the carburetor. So we got that done. I might have to reposition. Oh boy, here we go. Getting too fat for this mess. I can get a wrench here. And I'm trying to decide on whether or not it'd be better just to go ahead and get the crow's foot and use that, since I'm going to have it anyway. But I already have my 1/2 inch wrench over here, so it's like, oh, the hood latch is in my gut, kind of making me want to throw up. The sharp part's in my belly button. That feels wonderful. But it does keep you from sliding back off. You don't fall off of it now. Yeah, so there's a crow's foot situation. Can't get this wrench into there at all. And then I think this side, the front, the front passenger is the one that you can get like 1/64th of a rotation on it. But getting tighter. Do I feel, or can I even get to where I can feel the top of the stud is actually showing through the nut, so we got enough threads there. I'm going to go back to the back corner. I didn't tighten that all the way down. Just getting it snugged up. And then just walk your way around, because it's going to be easier to tighten them down once you got them all, getting them snugged up good. And like I said, don't tighten these things down until you think you've bursted it, until you think you've irritated the anal hematoma or something. You're going to have trouble with it later if you tighten the bejesus out of it. So I still gonna, my stubbornness, I'm still gonna see if I can get this wrench in there to tighten something down. I think, y'all, yeah, actually, I remember correctly, I had to take the accelerator pump rod loose. I had to take the accelerator pump rod loose the last time I fooled with it. I think, where's the E-clips opening at? There it is. Yep, I gotta go. Oh, I had to, sorry. Whew, I had to unhitch my belly button from the foot latch. So, yeah. This is even better. It's just, I mean, like I said, it's once it's on, it's done. You ain't got to keep fooling with it like I did, because, you know, it's not a common thing for Holley, been my experience, to send anything back. But yeah, I bent the bejesus out of that too. That rod. I hope his carburetor works good this time. I say that, I mean, it worked good the last time, just one side of the engine was not getting any fuel at idle. So it did good above the transition, but did terrible below the transition, which is, by transition I'm saying when the carburetor goes from the idle circuit over to the higher RPM circuit. Forgive me, I am completely paying attention to what I'm doing, just not watching it, because I don't want to lose that little snap ring. I've got more, but who wants to have to go get extra stuff just because you dropped something? Now, I'm trying to do it without having to do stuff to have to readjust it. Accelerator pump arm adjustalizer nut on the end. This. You got that thing, and you can adjust that, and it helps get your accelerator pump linkage in a better place where it can sing Kumbaya with the carburetor a little better than the engine, because some engines don't like a lot of accelerator pump. Just depends on setting, like tuning and stuff, and performance level, I think, camshaft, and a whole lot of major science that I haven't had much of the privilege of learning. I'm able to do this without the crow's foot so far, but it's grab a little, grab a little, grab a little, and it slips off. Maybe. Yeah, this one is going to be the one you're going to hate. Oh, now the wrench don't come back off the nut. And it. And I'm not grunting because I'm tightening it down super hard. I'm a grunting because that hood latch is very uncomfortable in my lower intestine. So. Oh. Excuse me, I did not mean to do that. I had to swallow that one. Golly. And I'm going to probably come back over these again later after we run it a while. Get a couple of good heat cycles in it. Drive it back and forth. It's church. It's a little bit too warm to be wearing a hoodie. But now the fun part is getting... Oh. There we go. Beat on it. Bend it, twist it, who cares? No, seriously, it's a steel fuel line. So you do have to be careful, kinda. And I'm not exactly sure why GM ran that fuel line right up against the block. I guess they wanted the fuel to get superheated so it vapor lock every now and again. I'm not sure, but trying to get that to start without cross threading. Feels a little better. Now it is taking a little bit of manliness to bend that with your fingers, but there's probably a better way to do it. But I just did it with my fingers. And it's threaded now. And it's threaded nicely. So there it is. Alright, this is the time I just kind of close my eyes and think about my life choices. Wonder why I do things the way I do things. And contemplate why subatomic particles can't travel faster than the speed of light, or that they can, and how is it that subatomic particles can be in two places at once. Oh wait, it's not that kind of channel, I'm sorry. We gotta get back to stabbing a hood latch into your gut. That's just the way life is. Alright. Fuel line is on. So what I did, it's blind guy garage modification, is just drill that a little bit, put you a 1/4 bolt through there, it's threaded all the way to the head, put you a nut and some washers on there so you can tighten it down. There it is. And if you want to, you don't even have to, if you want to, you can put a nut on the end of this and it keeps the throttle cable from coming back loose. And then somewhere it happens, I should have a spot to hook. Oh, of course. So I've got to bend that piece that got bent out of the way, because that holds, the detent cable goes there. So that's got to be fixed. Let's see. I'm just trying to get the accelerator pump rod back on, or the pump cantilever, whatever thingamadoo. Just trying to get it back into place here. It's on. I'm gonna. I wonder if the. Let me try. Yep. It don't get any more comfortable the more you do it. It just kind of sucks. No, it's not gonna work. Let's see. I'm gonna try these. Is there enough room to get these down in there? Yes, there is, but are they gonna be able to do the desired movement? Oh, it moved. I hope I'm not messing something else up. Me and my luck, it's very possible I could just be destroying the carburetor right now. These carburetors are not cheap, guys. There is my detent cable. Click. There is the 2 throttle springs. Snap-o. And you know the sharp end of the spring always has to go under your fingernail into the quick. It just makes you cry a little. Yep, don't need no hoodies today, but I don't have a short sleeve shirt on underneath because, you know, I am in Tennessee, and for some reason the weather in Tennessee will be, it was 2 days ago it was 28 degrees this time of day. Right now I think it's in the 70s. So Tennessee is not the place to be if you have allergies. Look there, make a song. Make a song about it. So we got all of that hooked up now. I'm probably going to have to adjust the detent, which is, this has got the snapalize thing on it. So like if you push it, pull it all the way back, go to full throttle, it zips it forward, and then that's supposed to be correct tension. I don't know. Some fellows, I guess, could tell me what they think or what they've learned. Or, you know, it's always nice when you're making videos about stuff like this and 15 people tell you you did everything wrong, but like I said before, I thought I might need this, and I think I might still need to make it longer because we got the vacuum advance line is not quite long enough. That's on it. How? I know I just put that on there like a couple months ago. That sucker's on there tight as it can be. Yeah, everything. Golly. Yep, there goes the acid reflux. It's coming back. There's that. I hope I hooked that in the right spot. I can't remember. I guess if it don't work, I'll figure it out. So we got that hooked up. And Holley went ahead and put all the vacuum caps back on the carburetor. I sent it to them without any of those on it. And they sent it back with all of them on it. So that's just fine. I appreciate it. I'll put them in a drawer somewhere and forget that I've got them and go buy them when I need them for the next project. And then discover these were in the laundry room anyway because I forgot to take them out of my pocket. So, how often do y'all do that? Put parts in your pocket, hardware, forget where you put it, carry it in the house. Try to do my own laundry, but I imagine there's wives that's got a tool drawer in the laundry room because of all the crap that comes out of our pockets. Alright. Now I'm thinking again, so y'all watch out. Just trying to remember, I got fuel line, throttle cable, detent cable's hooked up, but I guess I need to go ahead and do that before I get a bunch of gas in the carburetor and then have to foul out the plugs because I keep pumping it. Now this time I'm putting the feet on that. Ow, there's the dang hood latch again. Step number one in replacing carburetors is take the hood latch off. It don't make sense at first, but I promise you it will once you get started. See, there is a button. There it is. See, you're supposed to. I think I'm going to have both hands. Slide that back. And that snap's supposed to have been the detent pulling, I think. I'm like, I don't know. These old square bodies, I love them. We got a lot more room. Ow! Lost my balance and just put all my body weight on the vent on my hand. Whoa, that hurt so bad. All right. See here. I think. What we got. That's full throttle. That's full throttle. I can't pull that detent anymore. So I'm guessing we're right. Man. There's a lot of sharp objects on these trucks. And I seem to be putting them all in sensitive areas. I guess I need to go ahead and check one more time. Just one more again. Make sure that fuel line is tight. And it's tight. There's a whole bunch of vacuum leaks right there that I've dealt with. Moved. There's a bunch of stuff under this hood that I haven't really been taking very good care of, like making sure I do things certain ways. Like if I was wanting this truck to stay very original, I would not have so many fittings and crap with just screws and stuff thrown in there, but it wasn't doing that before or anything. The AC don't work, everything's there, and the compressor clutch is nice, but anyhow, that has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. I'm just thinking out loud. So anyhow, we're gonna, I guess, if I had gas in a little squirt bottle or something, I could fill the vents up and get the bowls full to see if it's going to take forever to crank it up. Well, let's crank it up and see. Maybe it's not going to be at 2,000 RPMs as soon as we fire it. And here we go. It started. That exhaust leak's getting worse. Choke, and we don't need choke yet. power through the wire. I may have to run my coach wire. What a good carburetor will do for a vehicle. So we're back to working right. Before this carburetor, before Holley fixed it, it was the front bowl gasket behind the meter and block was just wasn't happy, okay? I can't think. But I've got to figure out where I'm getting what I believe to be a vacuum leak from somewhere. And I promise you, there's a lot of hoses that went to a lot of things that mean absolutely nothing. Or they did something at one point, but I didn't put that E-clip back on. Y'all probably noticed that in that video so far. If y'all didn't, shame on you. You should have told me. Oh well, I got it now. I'm going to clip it on if I don't miss and drop it. Nope, if you heard the snap. That means it's in place, fellas. That's what happens when you do it the right way. If you don't like what I said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Sometimes I tend to forget we live in a society now where everybody gets a trophy. You can't really talk mean to them because you hurt their feelings, fellas. You can't hurt people's feelings. I don't even get mad at people like, what are you, blind? I'm like, well, actually, yeah. So, I'm not offended by it anyway. If I want to be that kind of person, I reckon I gotta be tough. So, wondering why I no longer have power going to the wire that ran the choke. Stupid. I guess I have to try and bring one from another switch-stone power source over here to it. That stinks. Silent but deadly. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, you gotta go to a switch-stone power source for your choke, and then I'll find my vacuum leak if I have one. I may not have one. It may just be that the carburetor's not set, because it is sitting up high on a 1-inch spacer or plastic spacer for no heat transfer. So the carburetor's actually ice cold right now. The last time I had it on here, it acted like it was a vacuum leak and stuff, and we got it all situated, and it was idling rough. But even the Quadrajet that goes on here was getting pretty cool sitting on top of that plastic. But anyhow, That's it for this video, guys. Y'all have a blessed one.